Sometimes all we want is a little bit of control. Hi everyone and welcome back. MTG Moxman here. If you're new to my channel and you've just found me in the nacho cheese universe of YouTube, well, thanks a lot for checking out my content today. I hope you guys had a good time while you were here. And if you did, smash that subscribe button. Join in the fun. It's free to do. I look forward to seeing everyone each and every day. We get to have a blast. And remember, every new subscriber is getting us closer to our live stream pizza party at 7,500 subscribers. You got to bring your own pie, but we're going to have a good time. And I can't wait to see everyone there. You know, when I was young, I used to play Dungeons & Dragons, put out by TSR back then. And the funny thing was, when Magic came out, Wizards of the Coast grew so fast, they bought TSR. But then 10 years after that, Hasbro bought Wizards of the Coast. Smaller fish got eaten by a bigger fish, got eaten by a bigger fish. Okay, great, because they wanted the controlling stake in something. Hasbro said, I see value there, I want that. People do it all the time in real life. So when you think of Hasbro with all those thousands of shareholders out there, when the company does well, they all get the reward. They all get to benefit from it. So when you look at it in terms that way, you say, does everyone have the same shares? No, they don't all have one. There's some guys who have millions of shares, some guys who have hundreds, some guys who have one. And they get a percentage point based on that. Of course, the guys who have millions of shares probably have a bigger say in what goes on in that company. Interesting. So now let's take that analogy. Let's work it back to Magic cards. When you see old Magic cards, specifically reserve list cards, and there's 572 of them. Instead, think of it as a business. There are 572 businesses that are all one of a kind and can never come back. That's it. They have a certain amount of shares based on their print run. So, Kel Jordan Outpost, 325,000 shares in this company. Some people want to get thousands of shares. They want to have as many as they can. They want to centralize. They want to buy it out. They want to hold on to it. They want to see how many copies they can get in their lifetime. Not everyone is interested in actually playing with the card. They just like the art from being a kid. Maybe they have higher salaries. Whatever reason they may have for doing it, they are buying as many copies as they can. And it doesn't have to be just an okay card. It could be a very low-end reserve list card that nobody cares about. It could be a junk card that hasn't been broken by Wizards and nobody sees a use for it, so they say, you know what, that card is 25 cents. Picture 10 years ago. That card's 25 cents. I'm going to buy, 1,000 copies. I'm going to spend a couple $100. And they got 1,000 copies out of that 300,000 print run before the card was expensive, before it moved up. Some people see the writing on the wall. They recognize the future values of things, the corner of that market, and how to get in there ahead of everyone else. They see things that others don't see. And then by the time we all see it, we're like hopping along saying, yeah, that card's cool. I want to get some. But you're paying that inflated price now. Because he's already cornered the market. That girl over there, Sherry, got hers. Those people over there, they grabbed all their stuff too. Last one to the bowl pays the highest price, right? That's what happens. That's the controlling stake. Now, is it possible to get that much control? I'm sure it's already happened. I'm sure it happens right now. In the things we've done on the channel to show how the market manipulation works within cards. If you pick a card that hasn't really been bought or nobody really cared about it, the price fluctuates quite a bit and it tends to stick because it's never been a target before. But some cards, because they've never been bought out at all and nobody cared about it, those are harder to make stick. They don't have an actual use in the game. The stock isn't as valuable as other stocks. If you take a look at Tanos' Coffin, Antiquities, print run of around 31,000 cards, there's not a lot of shares in the Tanos' Coffin company. 31,000 is not a lot of shares. Hence why the price is a lot higher to get and only continues to go up. Because unlike other companies, we know exactly how many shares are out there and they're always there. When you start thinking about trying to control a card, there's unknown variables that you don't know about. You don't know how many cards have been lost to attrition. How many are never coming back? Because they're just gone. They don't get reissued. Wizards doesn't do a head count and say, oh, we lost 5 copies to a garbage compactor. Grandma threw those ones out. Let's reissue 20 copies. No, they're just gone. And people who love those old cards keep hoarding them and keep gathering them. For whatever their purposes may be, they want to control as many copies of that card as they can. And when it comes to reserve list cards, it is the most effective in that realm because we know the print runs are finite. There's only so many fish in that ocean to be eaten and gobbled up. So when people ask me that question, is it possible to really control the market? I have to say yes, and it's already happening. It may be in smaller scale. It may not be somebody's trying, one person out there has 500,000 copies of something. No, probably not. Okay? But there could be somebody with 15,000. Somebody who loves Bazaar of Baghdad might have 100 copies. The Library of Alexandria might be a few people who have a couple hundred copies each because the cards weren't always this expensive. And anyone who could kind of picture how the game was going, they had a higher end salary back then, they could cut that corner, get in ahead of everyone else and buy copies cheaper and actually pay the premium as the price rose a little bit. As the stock became more valuable, they still gathered up a few copies, maybe at a slower pace. What we did with Thrall Champion and what we're doing with City of Shadow from the Dark, and we see Soldevi excavations, those effects can be seen and measured. We don't know the intangible variables of what happens when they're gone, but controlling the market and actually saying to people, yep, I'm going to buy this card, I'm going to keep buying until it's this price, gives people knowledge that, hey, this card's going up because this person's buying it. They're going to stop at such and such a time. If there's that many copies available, we don't know the attrition rates. It's a great conversation to have about market control because it is happening. Not everyone wants to play the game every day. There are older players who aren't as interested in going to the card shops, but they love to fill binders with old cards. They remember those nostalgic memories and they say, hey, you know what? I don't care. I'm gonna buy a couple copies this month. I'm gonna keep doing it. Maybe they have fun just trying to see how many they can get. But it happens. I've seen the pictures. I've seen what goes on. I've talked to other channels. I get the photos and you're like, wow, that is a lot of copies. And it doesn't always have to be a reserve list card, by the way, but I'm saying it is most effective in the reserve list because it's a tangible that you can kind of measure. I don't know how many copies of Questing Beast are out there, but I know that Tunnels' Coffin had 31,000. And I'm sure Questing Beast has a lot more than that based on those print sizes compared to back in the day. It's not a 15 million card print run, right? Interesting stuff. So as we go forward in the game, I wonder who will buy out who. Will there be some big whale who buys out another whale, and then that bigger whale buys out 2 more smaller whales and just consolidates collections? And then if Magic cards ever become that valuable that they do end up in world famous museums as some kind of art exhibit done by some, collectible company, imagine that stuff. Or seeing a Black Lotus end up in some huge auction house going for like 12, 13, 20 million dollars, like some old piece of artwork. I don't think it's that far-fetched. That's why I'm still buying and collecting these cards myself. I'm building my collection, building my positions in cards I like. Because there's only so much stock in each of these cards. And every time one disappears, and if it's someone who's just going to hold the card, there's just one less. And somebody's controlling stake in that card grows larger. Now, when a stock price goes up, everyone in the shareholders benefits. So even someone who's not going to sell their card, say they have one Tanos' Coffin. They've had it since they were a kid. They're never selling it. They've kept it gem mint. But they said, no matter what, I'm never selling that card. Okay. But if somebody over there bought 100 copies and the card goes from 300 to 500, that person who has one copy still benefited from that. The stock still goes up. And every time I buy a card I like, I feel good about it. I'm like, I like that card. I'm going to get a copy of that. That is mine. I am having that for my collection. I'm watching it build. I'm going to talk to my patrons about it. I'm going to do an opening here on the channel so I can show people the cards I'm buying because these are the cards I like and I want to play with and build decks around. And there are a lot of people doing that. Not everyone's playing. Some people just like the artwork, but there are people collecting and solidifying mass amounts of cards every day. Every day. They have disposable income. They've decided this is how they want to spend it. And they get to reap the reward as years go by and these cards go up. Remember how worthless some cards were. Where are they at now? Look at those worthless boxes. Look where they are now. I'm willing to ride this out for years to see what the end results are. This cardboard can go to 0, or it can continue to go to the moon. Either way, I'm going to check it out. I'm going to watch it go there. I'm going to talk with you people on YouTube about it, and we get to have this conversation every day for like years to come. Just so we can take that ride and see who has the largest controlling stake at the end. I remember an uncle of mine who always used to say, whoever has the most toys at the end is the winner. And he had a huge sign. And he had a lot of fancy toys, I'll be honest. A lot of cars. Very cool stuff. In this case, bragging rights for Magic cards. Who's got the most of this? Who's got the most of that? And you can't help but be awed when you see someone who's got hundreds of copies of something. Because it's an amazing feat to put that many together. They've got a big slice of that pie, and they're trying to make their pie slice bigger. They're trying to buy out your collection. They're trying to buy out that person's collection. It's a war of attrition, and everyone wants to get to the end. They want to pass it on to their kids. That's what I plan on doing. Interesting stuff. So, am I a completely crazy person here? Do you guys see the same kind of writing on the wall with these controlling stakes and what people are doing with Magic cards nowadays? There's no reason somebody needs 50 copies. They want to play and have a good time. So you guys let me know what you think. Put those comments in the comment section. I'm looking forward to having that conversation. Am I completely nuts? You guys are going to let me know, and I can't wait to talk to you about it. You have a great day. It's Friday. You guys are going to have a good day, I hope. Things went well. And then, of course, we have the top 10 videos on Saturday and Sunday. Hottest selling cards will be on Saturday, and the hottest selling reserve list cards will be on Sunday. And, of course, Sunday is also the live stream, 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. I'll see you guys then. Have a great day today, everyone. I'm going to control some cards. That's right. I'm going to go control some cards. Hey guys, a big shout out goes out to each and every one of my fantastic patrons on the channel. Patrons make the world go round. They make it go spinning topsy-turvy, upside down, inside out, black hole style. From, what was that, 1981, that movie? Pretty scary Disney stuff. Have a great one, everyone. Well, like an adventure in Dungeons and Dragons, you've made it to the end. Congratulations. Your prize is a Great Axe, level 4. Great Axe from AFR. It's going in the 10K box. Because you guys are the worthy ones who made it through the maelstrom of levels of dungeons to get to this part of the video. Congratulations, your dungeon master is proud.